Yes. Namaskar. I'm Susham. Ha. I'm Sushama Jok here from Pune. Uh, on behalf of Central Council of Brahmo Samajes, welcome you all who have joined this Zoom meeting online, and also those who are physically present in the Hari Mandir right now of Pune Prarthana Samaj for the Brahmopasana program this evening. I am pleased to tell you all that today is also the first day of the 150th Foundation Day festival of Pune Prarthana Samaj. And therefore, as a trustee and president of Pune Prarthana Samaj, I welcome you all on behalf of Pune Prarthana Samaj today in the spiritual celebration of the 150th Foundation Day of Pune Prarthana Samaj. Foundation Day is 55th and annual celebration is 54th. Yeah, no, 55th. The benefit, for the benefit of the audience, let me read out the entire program for today evening Brahmopasana. In the beginning, there will be recital of Upanishadic hymns compiled by Debendranath Tagore from different Upanishads. This will be followed by the Brahmopasana conducted by Sri Bhaskar Muzumdar from Pune. He will conduct the Brahmopasana in 3 parts, punctuated by 3 hymns, rendered by architect Namita Muzumdar, Dr. Dilip Zog, and Dr. Shilpa Muzumdar, all from Pune. Of the Brahmopasana will be concluded by recital of Shanti Mantra by Amruta Damuliri from Hyderabad. And then there will be open forum for all the participants. So let us now begin with the program. I request Shilpa Muzumdar and architect Numita Muzumdar and Dr. Dilip Zog and others present in the Hari Mandir to recite the Upanishadic hymns.
ब्रह्मवादिनो वदन्ति शृण्वन्तु विश्वे अमृतस्य पुत्रा आये नामानि दिव्यानि तस्थु वेदाहमेतं पुरुषं महान्तम् आदित्यवर्णं तमसः परस्तात् तमेव विदित्वाति मृत्युमेति नान्यः पन्था विद्यते अयनाय एषास्य परमा गतिः एषास्य परमा सम्पत् एषोऽस्य परमो लोकः एषोऽस्य परमानन्दः एतस्यैवानन्दस्यान्यानि भूतानि मात्रामुपजीवन्ति एतस्माज्जायते प्राणो मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च हं वायुर्ज्योतिः आपः पृथिवी विश्वस्य धारिणी भयादस्याग्निस्तपति भयात् तपति सूर्यः भयादिन्द्रश्च वायुश्च मृत्युर्धावति पञ्चमः एको देवः सर्वभूतेषु गूढः सर्वव्यापी सर्वभूतान्तरात्मा कर्माध्यक्षः सर्वभूताधिवासः साक्षी चेता केवलो निर्गुणश्च यतो वाचो निवर्तन्ते अप्राप्य मनसा सह आनन्दं ब्रह्मणो विद्वान् न विभेति कदाचन आनन्दाध्येव खल्विमानि भूतानि जायन्ते आनन्देन जातानि जीवन्ति आनन्दं प्रयन्त्यपि संविशन्ति तमीश्वराणां परमं महेश्वरं तन्देवतानां परमं च दैवतं पतिं पतीनां परमं परस्तात् विदामदेवं भुवनेशमीड्यं यो देवो योऽसु यो विश्वं भुवनमाविवेश यो ओषधीषु यो वनस्पतिषु तस्मै देवाय नमो नमः।
Hymns are from Shvetashvatar, Taittiriya, Brihadaranyaka, Manduka, and Katha Upanishad, collected from the book Brahma written as commentary by Maharshi Devendranath Tagore and translated into English by Hemachandra Sarkar at the time of centenary of Brahmo Samaj in 1928. A brief meaning of these hymns goes like this. Om, thus say the professors of divine knowledge. We see the uncreated immortal God who is the great effulgent person beyond darkness. The devotee overcomes death by knowing him. Of all the good fortunes of man, knowledge of God is the best and highest. To get him is the last reward of goodness. From this were born life, mind, all the senses, the heavens, the air, the light, the water, and the earth that contains all. Fire, sun, rain, wind, and death all operate by the power they receive from him. He is bliss. He is love. From love, surely all these beings are born. By love, created beings are sustained, and unto love they proceed and enter. May we know that supreme effulgent Lord of the universe, who is worthy of worship, who is God of all gods, who is deity of all deities, who is Lord of all lords. The one God dwells secretly in all things. He is all pervading and inmost spirit of all beings. He superintends all actions and is refuge of all creatures. He is consciousness, the witness, and without any associate, and is above all qualities found in created beings. The God who is in the fire, who is in the water, who has entered into the whole universe, who is in the herbs, and who is in the biggest forest trees, we salute him again and again. I now request Sri Bhaskar Muzumdar to conduct the Brahmopasana. Bhaskar, I will introduce him in brief, is MA and MPhil in economics, but he turned into a software professional in later days. He is a member of Managing Committee of Pune Prarthana Samaj. Bhaskar, please proceed with the Naman and Udbodhan part of the Upasana.
Thanks, Sushma ji. We'll start our Brahmopasana. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Yes, thank you. So we'll start our Brahmopasana with a bhajan, page 31 of Prarthana Sangeet book of Prarthana Samaj, and hymn is 114. Kahe mano harise na karat.
न करत प्रीत काहे मन हरि से, न करत प्रीत अजब कौन ये तेरी रीत, काहे मन हरि से न करत प्रीत। कपटियरी संग सुख से खेलत, कपटी हरि संग सुख से खेलत मन हरि से न करत प्रीत काहे मन हरि से न करत प्रीत क्षण भंगुर यह विषय जान कर क्षण भंगुर विषय जान कर छांड करित सब ही पुनीत काहे मन से न कर प्रीत दीन दया घन प्रभु कानुदिन दीन दया घन प्रभु कानुदिन मुख से कर तू यश संगीत मुख से कर तू यश संगीत काहे मन हरि से न करत प्रीत काहे मन हरि से न करत प्रीत.
First of all, when I start my Namanut Bodhan, I want to explain one thing right in the beginning. I may be repeating the same mantras which were recited just now by Sushma Jog, Dilip Jog, Shilpa and Namita. But that will be with a very limited capacity of my explanation of the meaning, not as well as done by Mr. Sushma Jog. Let us start with understanding why we do Namana and Udbodhan. The purpose of Namana and Udbodhan is to concentrate our mind towards that Almighty God. Because we are busy with so many things of our day-to-day life that we will not be able to immediately go and start thinking of God, coming to Hari Mandir or coming to some place where we do the worship, where we do the prayer. We need to sort of cultivate, or we need to prepare our mind so that our mind is ready to pray to God. This is the purpose of Naman and Udbodhan. The bhajan which Namita sang just now is exactly telling us this part only. Why the bhajan says, why he is expressing, the Rachanakara of that bhajan, composer of that bhajan is expressing a thing, why my mind is not able to connect to thee, God, like that all pervading, preserving God. That's why don't I like him? Is the question posed by somebody. All through our life, we show all the affection and liking and love for all those things which are bound to disappear some or other time. But we don't understand this in the consequence of this. In a way, we are saying that all these things we know very well. We know that all these things are not faithful to you. But we tend to be afraid of that God who has created us, who is our Janani. In another bhajan of Pratana Sangeet, Janani se hoyat tu bhayabhit. The same bhajan which we sang just now is saying that, why are you afraid of God? He is the one who has created you and you don't like him. You don't have any affection for him. You don't love him. Forget about showing our gratefulness to God, but at least love him, like him, because he is our mother. He is the one who has created us. So let us constantly or correctly perceive that Kshanabhangur, perishable nature of all the things, that is existing in this materialistic world all around us. And thus, avoid all those things which we try our best. We give everything best possible from our side to achieve those things which are materialistic. It doesn't mean that you should not do it. You do work for it, but what is more important, you work more for getting nearer to God. Instead, let us make a conscious effort to remember that God instead of trying all our concentration and efforts of achieving something which is only material world things, which is perishable. We try to remember that God, the Paramatman, by reciting his Naam. This is what the bhajan which we sang says. The mukha se kar tu yash sangit. We don't have to take it literally from that, as if you have to always say, go, oh God, oh God, oh God, from your mouth. What is important is that let us try to remember him in our heart and try to behave by remembering him in our heart. Then from your mouth, from your speech, nothing against God will come out, because you are remembering him. As a gratefulness, you are showing a gratefulness to him. You are loving him, you are liking him. When you do that all the time in your life, nothing bad comes out of you. This is what is that bhajan is saying. Let us recite the mantra which we have said just now. Once again, bear with me. Tamishwaranam paramam maheshwaram tam devatanam paramam cha devatam patim patinam paramam stat vidam devam bhuvaneshu nityam. Let us, the meaning of this Sanskrit Upanishadic stanza is, let us try to know that Supreme God, Lord of the universe, who is worthy of worship, who is God of all gods, who is the deity of all deities, and who is the Lord of all lords, the Parameshwar, Parameshwar. एतस्मात् जायते प्राणो मनः सर्वेन्द्रियाणि च खं वायुर्ज्योति आपः पृथ्वी विश्वस्य धाम. Every creature, meaning of this Upanishadic stanza, every creature, each animate and inanimate beings, as well as substances in all this universe, all beings and their mind, not only beings and their mind, body, soul, everything, are all his creations of that Supreme God, Parabrahma. He is the one who is creating all these things. This God has not only created these all beings, but even Pancha Mahatattva, Pancha Mahabhuta, we call it, water, earth, and space, fire, wind, everything is his creation, by which everything in the universe is comprised of. These are the elements of the universe. All saints, great philosophers and maharshis who composed Upanishads tell us that Parabrahma is not only creator of this universe, but he also dwells within every creation of his in the form of Atman, Atma, soul. In fact, they further state that Parabrahma Tattva is not only in his creations, but even outside his creations everywhere. No space is empty of him. In this sense, he is all pervading. Anandadeva kalvimani bhutani jayante आनंदेन जातानि जीवन्ति आनंदं प्रयन्त्यभिसंविशन्ति. The Supreme God, that Parabrahma Tattva, He is the creator of all beings, is the only support of all His creations. He is the only support. He is the creator and preserver of this universe. His support to all His creations is in the shape of supreme joy. All creatures during their lifespan are always moving closer and closer towards that supreme joy, and thus striving to enter that nectar of the supreme joy, Parabrahma. In fact, Upanishadic stanza recited tell us that at the end of their existence, all being merged into that supreme Paramatma. एषास्य परमा गतिः एषोऽस्य परमा सम्पत् एषोऽस्य परमो लोकः एषोऽस्य परमानन्दः एतस्यैवानन्दस्यान्यानि भूतानि मात्राणि उपजीवन्ति. Thus, that God, Parameshwar, He is the supreme refuge of a man. He is the supreme treasure of a man. He is the supreme habitation of a man. He is the supreme joy of a man. All beings live by participating in a measure of His love. Now let us recite a Udbodhan mantra. Yo Deva Sarvabhuteshu Gudha Sarvabhutani Santaratma Prima Sarvabhutadivasa Sakshi Chaitanya Nirvishta Yo Deva Sarvabhuteshu Atmarupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhuteshu Satyarupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Yo Deva Sarvabhuteshu Shanrupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhuteshu Shantirupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhuteshu Anandarupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhutanam Gururupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhutanam Swamirupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhutanam Pitrurupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Yo Deva Sarvabhutanam Pitrurupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah Yo Deva Sarvabhutanam Matrurupena Samstitah Namastasmai 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 Namo Namah. We Rather, I started reciting of this Uddbodan mantra with a slight mistake, and it led to somewhere. Sorry for that. Then we corrected ourselves. Meaning of the Uddbodan mantra is we bow down in deep obeisance to that God who dwells within every creature in the form of everlasting soul, eternal truth, true knowledge, abiding peace, and supreme joy and immortality. We also bow down in deep obeisance to that God who is within every creature in the shape of Guru, Swami, Mitra, Pitru, and Mata.
So the next, we come to the second hymn, which will be rendered by Dr. Dilip Zog. He is not new to the audience, but the first hymn, which was rendered by architect Namita Muzumdar, I did not get chance to introduce her to the audience. And therefore now, before the next hymn, I will introduce Namita to the audience because she is coming for the first time on this platform. Srimati Namita Muzumdar is architect by profession, but a dancer by passion, I would say. And she is a fifth generation Prarthana Samaji. And she is presently working as joint secretary of Pune Prarthana Samaj. And she is also representing Pune Prarthana Samaj on the CCBS. So you have already listened to the hymn sung by her. And now the second hymn will be sung by Dr. Dilip Zog.
पेज 46 46 पद 156 अव्यक्ता अचिन्त्या अरूपा अपारा अव्यक्ता अचिन्त्या अरूपा अपारा अनंता अक्षरा आदि मूर्ति अव्यक्ता अचिन्त्या अरूपा अपारा अनंता अक्षरा आदि मूर्ति आनंदा अभेदा सुखकंदा स्वानंदा आनंदा अभेदा सुखकंदा स्वानंदा अच्युता निर्द्वंद्वा आत्मरूपा अच्युता निर्द्वंद्वा आत्मरूपा अव्यक्ता अचिन्त्या निस्संगमला दयाळा कोमळा निस्संग अमला दयाळा कोमळा आद्यंती सकळा तुची त्राता आद्यंती सकळा तुची त्राता अव्यक्ता अचिंत्या तुका म्हणे तुझी अघटितली तुका म्हणे तुझी अघटितली या साधी सकळा नवणावे व्यासादी सकळा नवणावे अव्यक्ता अचिंत्या अरूपा अपारा अनंता अक्षरा आदि मूर्ति अव्यक्ता अचिंत्या
Thank you, Dilip Zog. This bhajan, which was sung by Dilip Jog just now is the bhajan composed by Sant Tukaram, Saint Tukaram from Maharashtra. We started our Aradhana and Prarthana, rather Aradhana with this bhajan, reciting this bhajan, because I presume, though I might have fallen short of, but you might have able to cultivate your mind to come and concentrate on God. Our first thing which we do when we come to God is to try and describe his various qualities, describe God, how is he, because this is what we are concentrating on. So this is Aradhana. And this bhajan, the hymn which we sang just now, was composed by famous Marathi saint Sri Sant Tukaram Maharaj. He His whole life has been researched by many people, and there are many findings they have come out with. But most important for me to understand, he evolved his life trying to search for God, the real nature of God. He tried to search various qualities of God, and he tried to understand what is God and what is the relation between him, or rather us, and God. And he is explaining in this bhajan, which is called as Abhang. Bhajans composed by Tukaram Maharaj are termed as Abhang, one which doesn't go bhang, which doesn't break. So in this, he is trying to tell us that we try to pursue that God, that supreme God, Parameshwara, with our vision, with our mind, with our thinking, and many such other faculties. We fail to see him. And why we fail to see him? Because he says he is avyakta. We cannot describe him. We cannot express him in the words. He is achintya. We cannot think of him. Even if we try to think of him, it is beyond our thinking. And he is beyond of all our faculties. And it is very obvious why it is happening so. Because according to him, we are not able to describe him with our faculties, which are given by God himself. We are trying to describe him. It is something like the old childhood story we have heard so many times. Sheikh Chilli is sitting on the branch and cutting the branch. He falls down. Same logic, if we extend to this, it is the same thing we are trying to do. We are trying to explain God, who has given all these powers to explain, all these powers to write about him, all these things, attributes he has given us. And we are not able to, Tukaram Maharaj says very correctly, because, and believe me, Tukaram Maharaj, all Abhangas are exactly composed with the exact words, very fit for that explanation. He explains that it is beyond our capacity, it is not possible for us. But with that only, in the next line, he says, we can try to understand various attributes of God, which we can experience, which we can see, which we can realize. And through these attributes, can we perceive him? That it was he trying to say in this Abhanga, of his bhajan. Obviously, it is our endeavor, our efforts. It is efforts forever, for everybody, to understand that God, looking at his attributes, and many of his qualities, or rather attributes, which everybody of us, sometime or other, some might have already had my experience like I have, or some might have gained more experiences of this. We do feel that these qualities of His we can experience. The best example, which most of us might have experienced some time or other in his life or her life, is that when we go to a hill station, we go to a very beautiful location. We look at the location and just by looking at the greenery, our mind gets happiness. That happiness is not because of something which your mind is expecting and you are getting. That my happiness is not because of something which you have created and got it. That happiness, if you appreciate and if you can inculcate that happiness in yourself, you will understand this happiness is something different. This happiness is because something God has created beautiful. That is why I appreciate. Similarly, I can also give you another example, which many will be able to explain in better words than me, but I will try my best. If we help somebody who is in need of help, and it really helps that needy person to get help or support from me or from us or for anybody, he or me, if I'm supporting somebody, even if that person doesn't say thank you to me or doesn't show any gratefulness to me that thank you for this you have done for me, even if he doesn't say anything, if when you see these difficulties are resolved, you feel some satisfaction inside you. This satisfaction is again not generated by your mind. It is not generated by your some materialistic expectations. It is something your soul, which is a part of that Paramatman, which is inside residing in you, will accept it and will be feeling happy and satisfied. That is why you will get the satisfaction inside your heart. This is something which we can experience and we can see. So all these qualities of God are there, which we need to pursue properly and try to reach Him and try to see the connect between us and God. All His creations, Tukaram Maharaj in the end says in this Abhanga, all His creations in this world or in this universe are mesmerizing, are really something which we cannot imagine, something really beautiful. Like you go to the smallest part, tiniest part, if you go to atom, it is inside atom electrons. If you go to electrons, there is a new things are finding photon, everything. If you go to the larger thing, it is the solar system, solar system which is existing where our earth exists. There is a galaxy in which our solar system exists. There are multiple galaxies. There are passages between galaxies. Every day new finding is him. That God who has created all these things, then we have to understand that he has created all these things, something which is not imaginable for us. He has created, but he has created with all connections to every being of this universe. He is connected to everybody. And this is the message given by this. Now, I am going to recite the Aradhana mantra. Om Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma Anandarupamrutam Yadvibhati Shantam Shivamadvaitam Shuddham Apapaviddham. This Aradhana mantra we always recite. Says God is pursued via various attributes of His, like truth, knowledge, infinity, supreme joy, immortality, peace, Shivam Advaitam, and so on. And finally, the purity. He is so pure, he is so Shuddha, he is so Pavan that sins, Pap, cannot even touch it. It is so pure. Apapa Viddham. Throughout our life, we experience joy and sorrow. This experience of sorrow as well as joy, we frequently equate to our bodily sufferings and bodily pleasures. And this equation gives rise to the situation where if one moment we feel very happy, next moment that happiness has withered away. It evaporates. It doesn't exist. One moment we feel sad, next moment we are not worried about that, whatever we are feeling sad about. So, why this situation happens? Because we relate that to our bodily or mind perseverance. What is important is try to understand the happiness which is not related to body only. Try to understand the happiness, as I said, attributes of his, we have given some examples. Try to understand that happiness and try to experience that happiness so that that happiness doesn't wither away. So all these feelings which we have, which we equate with our body or mind, are always transient. Why? Because body and mind itself is not permanent. It is going to go away someday or other. What is there forever with everybody is the Atman, which connects to that Paramatman, and that Paramatman's position in our Atman, we should be able to see. Now, today is the 154th Foundation Day of Prarthana Samaj. Not today, on 4th December it is. But today is the first day of that celebration of a foundation of Prarthana Samaj. The Prarthana Samaj, meaning of Prarthana Samaj is a society for praying God. Praying which God? Which is very true. Praying which God? Which is everlasting, which has created everything in this universe. So, on this 154th anniversary of foundation of the Prarthana Samaj, let us pray to that God that we surrender unto Thee, who is the provider or giver of every need of ours. We surrender up to Thee, our guide at every step we take. We surrender unto Thee, who leads us through our life, holding our hands. We surrender unto Thee, our solace in times of difficulties and sorrow. We surrender unto Thee, our affectionate Master. We surrender with humility. We surrender without doubts and hesitation. We surrender with body, mind, and heart. May we take the right path with Thy guidance. May we take this path with single-mindedness that will lead us into Thee. May we remain steadfast on this path and not stray away into the dark abyss. That may lead us into the bad domain. May we always tread the path which is bright with the light of the truth. May we unite with Thee as we come to closer to Thee, journeying on this path, journeying on Thy path. Do protect us from going astray. Do protect us from evil. Do protect us from worldly temptations. O Paramatman, Thou art the only true guide to show us the right path at every stage in our life, and even after this life ends. On this 154th Foundation Day of Pune Prarthana Samaj, please assist us to strengthen our faith in Thee. Even strengthening of this faith in us is Thy plan. Yenaham namritasya imaham tena kuryam asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityo ma krutam gamaya aryayamaya rudra yatte dakshinam mukham te nama nityam. Bless us, bless us, bless us.
Now the last hymn will be rendered by Dr. Shilpa Muzumdar. I will briefly introduce her because she is again coming for the first time to this platform. So Dr. Shilpa Muzumdar is a professor of statistics in Symbiosis College, Pune, and is a very enthusiastic member of Pune Prarthana Samaj. And I will now request Shilpa to go ahead with the third.
Thank you, Sushma ji. हरि भजन को दिया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया, हरि भजन को दिया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया। प्रभु कृपा से ऐसा उत्तम, प्रभु कृपा से ऐसा उत्तम, सुंदर नर तनु पाया कमल मुख, सुंदर नर तनु पाया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया। खाया पिया सुख से सोया, खाया पिया सुख से सोया, नाहक जीवन खोया कमल मुख, नाहक जीवन खोया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया। जा मुख निस दिन हरि नाम नाही, जा मुख निस दिन हरि नाम किया कमल मुख, वह तुम कछु नहीं किया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया। कहत कबीरा सुन भाई साधो, कहत कबीरा सुन भाई साधो, आया वैसा गया कमल मुख, आया वैसा गया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया। हरि भजन को दिया कमल मुख, हरि भजन को दिया।
With this reciting of Kabir's Doha by Shilpa, we come to the end of my Upasana, the Prarthana part. In this Doha, again, Kabir, Sant Kabir is somebody who is like Tukaram Maharaj, is also very perfect in using his words and his examples. Examples are very apt. And in this bhajan, in this Doha of Sant Kabir, he is telling, Kamala Mukha Hari Bhajana Ko Diya. We are reciting always his name from our mouth. We don't have to take that literal meaning of reciting his name from our mouth. What he again means is, like we have earlier said, it is important to remember consciously in our heart gratefulness to that God, so that you will never forget him. Every moment of your life, remember every moment of your life. Like one of the bhajans in Prarthana Sangeet book says that the moment I remember the God, it is like Swarga for me. And the moment I forget the God, it is like it is my death. It is that equivalent, because he is the one creator who have to have gratitude towards him. Now, on this Foundation Day, first day celebration, we pray to God that please help us to bring this attitude in our life so that we will not forget the great Lord of Lord and God of God. But is it enough? Is it enough? As a Brahmo Samajist or as a Prarthana Samajist, we have to think of a possible solution of living in this society, present world society. We find, many of us, we find it, I at least found it, to humbly submit, that when I go in the society and those who are non-Prarthana Samajists in my college colleagues, in my office colleagues. It is very difficult for me to face them. Why? Because inside me, I feel very uncomfortable. What should I tell him? What we do? Do we follow Hindu Dharma? We do follow Muslim Dharma? Do we follow Christian religion? No, we don't follow. I mean, this is what our Prarthana Samajists are saying, have been saying, and this is what Brahmo Samajists, old people, our stalwarts, they always said that we are not a different panth. We are not a different dharma. We are the Sanatan Dharma, which is a summary of each and every religion. If that is so, why are we so afraid? Why do we feel so uncomfortable when we talk to other people, non-Prarthana Samajis, Brahmo Samajis? This is because we ourselves are not prepared. We are not sure what we are doing. If we are confident, we will face it very happily. And people will also get convinced. For this, it is important to understand one approach given by one Prarthana Samajis, one of the founders of Prarthana Samaj in Maharashtra, Justice Ranade. He has written a very good article, or you can say, I will prefer to call it a research paper. It is a confession of theist. Confession of theist. He says that it is not enough to say that we are the like Sanatan Dharma and we pray to that God. No, it is not enough. People will ask you, what do you say about after death? What happens to the soul? In our Dharma, this is this. Hindu will say something, Sikh will say something, Muslim will say something. There are so many other things which are related to social life, and all these things in a social life, if you want to answer it correctly, you have to classify your understanding of the religion. And this classification, Nyamurti Ranade has given long back, and it is still relevant, very much relevant. Unfortunately, my prime age of my life is already gone. Unfortunately, I came across this very recently. I was knowing, I was aware of this. But my request is that everybody should this and try to become confident inside. So with this, I end my Upasana by saying, O Paramatman, Thou are our creator, Thou are our sustainer, Thou are our dispenser, Thou care for us at every step that we tread. Through all the knowing, we come to Thee in all humility, we come to Thee in total surrender on this special day as we celebrate the 154th Foundation Day. Sarve Pisukina, Sarve Santu Niramaya, Sarve Bhadra. Anyatha Sharanam Nasti, Tvameva Sharanam, Tasmat Karunyabhavena, Dakshamam Parameshwara, Om Brahmopasana Shanti Hari. Thank you for bearing with me for such a long time.
Thank you, Master, for the Brahmopasana that you rendered on this platform for all and boosting the confidence amidst all the audience about their faith. Now I request Amruta Damuliri from Hyderabad to conclude the session by saying Shanti Mantra. Amruta, please.
Thank you, Auntie. Am I audible then?
Yes, you are.
Thank you. Om Tacham Yora Vrunimhe Gatum Yajna Yajnapate Daivi Swastirastunaha Swastirmanushebhya Shamno Astu Dvipade Sham Chatushpade ऊर्ध्वं जिगातु भेषजम् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः थैंक यू
So now the participants may